Welcome everybody to another edition of Brand Vision Marketing's Brand Boost, and today we're going to talk about a core branding element. That element is emotion, a very powerful element. I've said all along that brands are about relationships, and relationships involve emotion. If you're watching this, you probably have memories of your first car, and I'm going to talk a little bit about my first car. Grew up in the 80s in rural Indiana, and I guess Vacation had come out reasonably, in that time frame. So the metallic P van or station wagon was kind of a thing, and my first car was a green metallic P Datsun, which was the precursor to Nissan, and it was beat up, it was old, it was a piece of crap, but case in point, a big chunk of the floorboard was out in the passenger side. A big thing for us in rural Indiana was taking laps, right, on Friday and Saturday night. So we'd pile a bunch, 4 or 5 people in this little bitty car, and by the end of the night, we'd have lost 2 or 3 of them to the floorboard. I'm glad lawsuits weren't then what they are now, but I digress. So Dad had a notion to get his son a car. Dad was a big car guy. I lost my mom 6 months earlier, and maybe he was just trying to make me feel better. But at any rate, my first thought on this was, let's just fix up the Datsun a little bit and make it a little safer and blah, blah, blah. And we don't have to spend a bunch of money on a new car. So he had his eye on a certain car. And again, he was a car guy, so I think this sparked him as much as he hoped it would spark me. And it did spark me when he presented the idea of a gold Fiero. That's it, right there, and I was sold immediately. How cool am I in that thing, right? Versus a metallic P beat up Datsun with no floorboard, right? So I flipped pretty quick. I did a 180 and came over to his side very quickly when it came to the Gold Fiero. Just from all of the emotional aspects that would be involved in me shifting from the piece of crap Datsun to the way cool Gold Fiero. And emotion plays a huge part in the consumer decision-making process. Emotions played a big element in my shift with that decision, and emotions play a huge element with consumers today. Our research phase is called brand focus. We try not to do a lot of surveys. We can do online surveys, and sometimes that's appropriate. We try not to do those because consumers typically work through those things and give you the most logical answer that makes them look good and as if they're making logical decisions when the reality says something very different. And in personal interviews, in focus groups, we can kind of drill down, we can open up the hood, so to speak, and get to know exactly more about how they're making those decisions, and we learn very quickly that emotions come into play. So the emotional aspect in terms of building a brand is huge. It's key. And it's not always easy to do, especially in certain categories. If you're an attorney, if you're, whether it's a personal injury attorney or a bankruptcy attorney, if you're a dentist, chiropractor, there are a lot of industries, all of which can and should tap into some emotional element. Now, you know, some of those will use fear, and that's a strong element to tap into, and that's great as long as you are quickly using your solution as one that will alleviate that fear. a relationship with your brand is going to wipe that fear away and replace it with these wonderfully positive emotions, then you're in good shape. Fear mongering is not good, but if you're presenting fear, and here's the solution, we are the solution to take that fear away and replace it with these positive emotional aspects, then that's a win-win. But there are plenty of emotional angles to play when building a brand. I know it is tough. Sometimes it can be very tough, but look at certain categories. B2B categories really struggle with the element of injecting emotion into a brand. You look at brand vision marketing, you look at our brand, and you would think, well, how in the world would you inject emotion into that? But keep in mind, we've got clients that are typically small to medium-sized business owners. You've got an attorney who's the principal in a 3-person firm that is employing 10, 15 people. Freedom is a huge element that they would like to address in their life, to spend more time with their families, and yet they're wearing 5 hats. One of those hats is the marketing hat. They're trying to manage their caseload. They're trying to do all these things, and they just don't have time to do everything. So we can take that marketing hat off their shoulders, and they work with us instead of managing everything and get it done and accomplish goals and do it on budget. It's a win-win, and we can tap into that element of freedom very realistically and deliver on that, and they're living the brand vision marketing brand in no time. So honestly, emotion is a huge aspect of building a brand. Tapping into one of these emotional elements, presenting your company as a solution that will get you to the emotional finish line that you want your prospect to get to when they engage with your brand, that is a key element, a core branding element, and one that will put you way ahead of the game in the long run. So that is today's episode of Brand Boost. Questions? Want to talk more? Email us at info@brandvisionmarketing.com. Visit our website at brandvisionmarketing.com to schedule a free discovery session. Thanks for watching this episode, and have a great day.